APNvideo.com is on the air. It's the Arizona Lacrosse League. We're in the state semifinals. Playoff action as the defending Division I state champion Notre Dame Saints play host to the 10-3 Desert Vista Thunder. I'm Jeff Lowry with APN Video Sports. It's a great evening for Arizona High School lacrosse, powered by Ottawa University, Arizona Lacrosse. Well, the Thunder come in here with a record of 10-3, led by Dan Lannon in his 10th year as head coach, second winningest coach all time, 119 wins, and they are led on the field by attackman Jack Aarons, and he has 37 points going into tonight's semifinal game. Ben Brandenburger, who missed a couple of games, adds depth to Dan Lannon's offense, and they're going to need all the offense they can get as they'll be going up against truly the stingiest defense in the state of Arizona, led by Blake McKeon. Notre Dame this year gives up just 4.15 points per game. Kyle Donahue, who's had a tremendous season on defense, one of the three back there along with Zach Siegel and long stick midfielder Ryan Poteet. So when we come back, all the exciting play-by-play action. This is APNvideo.com. If you're ready now, the starting lineup for the state semifinals in the Division I. First for the visiting Desert Vista Thunder, who come in here with a plus 40 point differential. They have outscored their opponents 162 to 124. In goal is Christian Creech. The defense led by Bryce Thumler, Braden Culp, and also Dane Ide. At midfield, you'll have Spencer Story, J.J. Rose, Jake Rodriguez, Garrett Geeson. At attack, Aarons, Danublio, and Nick Callahan. For the defending champions, the Saints, as we're getting set for the opening face-off, you saw Josh Calvin a moment ago in goal. And defense, Siegel, McKeon, and Donahue. And the ground ball and the opening face-off belongs to the Notre Dame Saints. And this game, and this Division I state semifinal is underway, powered by Ottawa University, Arizona Lacrosse. So again, it is Siegel, McKeon, Donahue defensively for the Notre Dame Saints. Ryan Poteet, the long stick midfielder. You'll see Quinn Stanton out there, A.J. Schertz. Blake Story is also at midfield. Bergamo, Smith, and Coper are the attack. And again, Doug Lipka, he is assisted by Mark Siegel, and Dan Lannon assisted by Harrison Crawford. And we got our first score of the game as Jake Smith finds the back of the cage, and it's 1-0 in favor of the Notre Dame Saints. That comes at the 11:09 mark here in quarter number one. So this state semifinals off to a rousing start, as Jake Smith, one of the most sought-after football recruits in the state of Arizona at the Division I level. This time Desert Vista wins the face-off, so we're even at one apiece. And a nice ground ball that time by Story. Spencer Story of Desert Vista. We have a Blake Story who plays for Notre Dame. Ground ball, and, well, right there he is. Number 3, Blake Story. Senior midfielder. And quickly down in the low crease, and Bergamo scores with that dominant left hand, but it was Story who came up with the assist. And Dan Lannon is just claiming that that might have been a crease violation, and he might be right. But nonetheless, it's 2-0, 10:39 left to go. So Bergamo scoring with the assist coming from Blake Story. our third face-off of the game. Desert Vista, well, they're going to be called for a procedure. Actually, this is going to give it back to Notre Dame. So Bergamo will restart it, and now Quinn Stanton coming into the game for the first time. One of the true team leaders, senior midfielder. He's had a great career with Notre Dame as they try to win their second consecutive state championship. Here's the alley dodge. Here's a big right hand by Jake Smith, and he's found the promised land. Smith scores his second goal, and it's just like that, a 3-0 lead for the home team, the Notre Dame Saints. So they scored 3 times inside of 2 minutes. Jake Smith now with 25 points on the strength of 20 goals. Face-off advantage for DV, 3-1. And, of course, both teams are without their starting face-off player this year. Roach is in relief of the injured Brooks Lang, who is out for the season and did really a yeoman's job out there. Here's a dodge coming from the left, and the left-handed shot. As Blake Story can go left, he can go right, he can go right at you. 3-0 Notre Dame here in the first, and Traxler throws it away, giving it back to the Desert Vista Thunder, coming out in the all-dark uniforms. Now Creech trying to clear it, broken up by Notre Dame, picked up near the crease, and what a job that time. What a save by Creech. Ground ball picked up by Culp as he tries to clear it at midfield. He runs into McKeon, and down he goes, and he is laid out. And that is not good. The young man on a pretty hard check by McKeon, and now a late flag coming in. Dan Lannon wanting the penalty, and apparently he's got it. Doug Lipka, the head coach, or actually one of the coaches, is out there, and now they're just trying to get all their players off the field right here. So we got a timeout on the field. Braden Culp may have been knocked out on that play there with McKeon. We'll come back when play resumes.
20-minute delay.
All right, a 20-minute delay here. So nightfall has descended on Bemis Field on the campus of Notre Dame Saints High School, and a 3-0 lead for the defending Division I state champions. Notre Dame has won 2 championships in their school history and looking for their second at the Division I. They were Division II state champions about 8 years ago. And coming out of the timeout and scoring with the big left hand, a blistering shot by Jack Ahrens. So Ahrens scores, and that kind of puts this Desert Vista Thunder team right back into the ball game. First quarter action, 3-1 Notre Dame. They're in the white tops and the gold shorts. Face-off win belongs to DV. 25 player of the year a season ago, J.J. Rose. He's got it. He'll fake. And now get it to Ahrens, and he goes bottom shelf, and he's done it again. His second consecutive score. And they are fired up here, 3-2 with 8:17 left to go here in quarter number 1. Well, give Rose credit on the assist. A 3-2 lead, and now the face-offs are even at 3 apiece. Both teams are even, so Ahrens, 2 man-up goals for Desert Vista, and they get right back into this ball game as they trail it 3-2, and now Notre Dame looking to counter. Here is Story, and he's off the mark. Well, Blake Story, a big game against Desert Vista back on the 28th of March. He scored 8 goals in that 10-point victory here at Bemis Field. He's coming off a 5-goal performance in the state quarterfinals against Chaparral, in which Notre Dame won 14-7. Desert Vista And talking to some of the Thunder faithful out here as Rosen has it, and now Traxler took his eye off the ball. We'll have to regroup, goal line extended. They won 12-9 over Brophy, and they felt like that was one of their best games of the season. And Traxler puts one into the back of the cage as he dodges out of X. And the lead is back to 2 at 4-2 with 7:07 left to go. Traxler unassisted. And Notre Dame has scored 4 of the first 6 in this contest. Shirts. We didn't pick up a lacrosse stick. Number 7 for Notre Dame clears it for the Saints. He didn't pick up a lacrosse stick his entire life until about 6 weeks or so before the start of the season. And boy, has he been a spark plug for this team this year. 4-2, Notre Dame leads it here. We're in the first as we approach the 6-minute mark. And the word on Braden Culp, who was injured shortly after the start of this game, has been diagnosed with a concussion, and we hope he will recover very, very soon. Here's Blake Story, and a fake, a couple of fakes. Keeps the feet going, now frees the hands, and he's going to be denied by Creech. Excellent save that time by the Desert Vista goalie. Ground ball picked up by Story, going with the swim move, and this time he buries one into the back of the net.
There you go,
Blake Story makes it a 5-2 lead. That is going to match their largest of the game. So Notre Dame has put 2 consecutive scores up on the board, Traxler and Story.
Let's go, defense! Let's go!
Face-off win again for the Notre Dame Prep Saints. Defending champions, they've won 27-28. Their only loss this year was at the hands of Sal Point, 10-9, a couple of weeks ago down in the Old Pueblo. They're averaging 15 points a game and giving up just 4.2 a game, 4.15 to be exact. And their per-game point differential is nearly 11 points, one of the highest in Arizona Lacrosse League history. There's a shot taken by Traxler on the angle. So they'll bring it up out of the low side, and now out front, Dan Doherty is in there, a midfielder, and only a sophomore getting some valuable playing time. 5-2 Notre Dame in the light-colored uniforms. They got the lead here in the first quarter, 4 minutes left to play. Quarter number 1. Now Traxler will bring it up out of X. Saints working around to Bergamo, and now Quinn Stanton tried to bounce one in there, and what an outstanding ground ball picked up by Desert Vista's Jacob Mitchell, clearing it up towards midfield. Here's Goose going to work. One of their top scorers this year. Last year had 16 points, 15 ground balls. 5-2 lead Notre Dame. These two teams met back on the 28th of March, 15-5 final score, Notre Dame on top. And Poteet on the takeaway, and the ground ball, Bergamo. Bergamo with a nice clear. Races it in, gets it into the box. Now looking for maybe a pick or at least a cutter that time, but looks like Notre Dame is going to settle in here. Quinn Stanton had an opportunity. Goose with the challenge. Now Traxler. Back of X. Back to Trax. Quinn Stanton. Story. And it's it. And it's 6-2. Story has his second goal of this first quarter. His second score in a row. And the largest lead of the game belongs to the Notre Dame Saints. And not sure what this is all about. The goal is going to count, but they're going to award Desert Vista the possession. There'll be no face-off. And Notre Dame, with 4 minutes left to go here in quarter number 1, they'll restart it. Or rather, I should say Desert Vista will restart it. Now down by 4. J.J. Rose, player of the year a season ago, swims through and he finds the promised land. What a sensational move by J.J. Rose. Boy, did Desert Vista need that one. 3:46 left to play here in the opening quarter. And a lot of scoring going on here at Bemis Field in North Scottsdale. You're watching the Arizona Lacrosse League Game of the Week, and it's powered by Ottawa University Arizona Lacrosse. They're starting up what may very well be an MCLA Division II team next year, and they are looking for players, and they are offering a scholarship. For more, go to ottawa.edu. Coper is in there, Chandler Coper. He's had an outstanding year. I mean, obviously, there's a lot of guys scoring on this Saints team. That's a denial. Excellent job by Christian Creech. But the rebound belongs to the Saints. Here's Story. He's got 2. He's looking for 3. He goes top shelf. And he has found the promised land. Well, he's already got the hat trick. Blake Story has been really sensational in picking up the scoring from injured player Will Lynch, who might very well have been the leading scorer in the state had he not gotten hurt early in the year at Boulder Creek. And we're going to get a timeout here. Notre Dame leads it by a score of 7-3. And they have dominated offensively here through the first 9 minutes of this contest. Notre Dame will have the possession as we restart. They lead 7-3 and they have the ball. Jake Smith back in there, number 1. Number 2 is Quinn Stanton. Now Traxler. Came over from Brophy a couple of years ago. Could have easily been player of the year last year too. I know JJ was well deserved of it, but if they gave it to Traxler, I don't think anybody would have argued. Both players had a tremendous year. Of course, Traxler led his team to a state championship. The first in Division I play history for the Notre Dame Saints. They have won 27 of their last 28 under the guidance of Doug Lipkin, his 5th season as the head coach. And, well, Coper may have just taken his eye off the ball. So here is Thumler restarting it for Desert Vista. Dan Lannon, the head coach for Desert Vista, assisted by Jeff Kuhn, Cody Wood, Eric Ho, Harrison Crawford. His career record at Desert Vista, 119-34. They won back-to-back undefeated seasons in 2014 and 2015. Undefeated in the state of Arizona. Had 2 of the greatest players of all time, Cade Van Raphorst, who is now playing at Duke, as the Saints will clear it into their offensive half. And then they had Abadessa, the most prolific scorer in league history, and played 5 years for Dan Lannon. That shot is off the mark, and Notre Dame, who leads it 7-3 as we starting to wind down quarter number 1 of $1:21 left to play here. Dan Lannon, who attended Syracuse, which is, in terms of college lacrosse, they have the most national championships of all time. He won 3 of them with Syracuse. That shot is good, and Blake Story is doing it again to Desert Vista, picking up where he left off on that March 28th game earlier this year. And with 1:02 left to go, they have built their lead to 5. This is the largest lead of the game. Blake Story, in just under 5 quarters this year against Desert Vista, has scored 12 points in just under 5 quarters. Unbelievable. Face-off time again. Desert Vista gets the win. Taking the shot, and the outstanding save by the junior goalie, Josh Calvin. And here's Schertz clearing. This is what he does so well. And he's outstanding in ground balls, too. Saints up 8-3, and they are looking for more as Rosen hands off to Traxler. He goes bottom shelf, and he has done it. And it's 9-3 Notre Dame. Traxler with his 2nd of the day. That comes with 32.9 seconds left to go here in the first. And Notre Dame working on all 8 cylinders in this one. Their largest lead of the game of 6. The winner of this game will play the winner of tomorrow's game at South Point between the Lancers of South Point Catholic High School in Tucson and the Boulder Creek Jaguars, who defeated Glendale 16-6 on our game of the week on Wednesday. Notre Dame coming in here with a win over Chaparral 14-7 in the quarterfinals, while Desert Vista beat Brophy 12-9. Story, his 5th of the quarter. What a way to finish the first quarter, and it's a 10-3 ball game, and Story has 5 goals with 1.2 left to go here in the first. What a performance, his 13th goal this year against Desert Vista, and that is the end of quarter number 1. We'll head to the second on APN Video Sports. 10-3, defending champion, the Notre Dame Saints. Calling all teams and players, get into the box. Arizona Box Lacrosse presents the Best in Box Invitational starting in June. League practices will be held to prepare for a 6-week game series sponsored by String King. Get into the box. Register today at azboxla.com. You're watching the 2018 Arizona Lacrosse League Division I semifinals, brought to you by Ottawa University Arizona Lacrosse Team. For more information, go to ottawa.edu. Jeff Lowry back here at Bemis Field, and what a first quarter it was for Blake Story and his Notre Dame Saints. Story comes up with 5 goals, and that's after he scored 8 on them, the same Desert Vista team, back on the 28th of March. And they lead it by a score of 10-3. Face-off win here for Desert Vista. Though Notre Dame has a +3 differential in face-off wins, as Desert Vista is led by one of their top players, Garrett Geeson, better known as Goose. J.J. Rose, and trying to hook up the high crease area, and the shot is no good by Winston Bolton. Bolton coming in here, number 22 with 18 goals, and Desert Vista throws it away. This ball is going to go out of play. Ryan Poteet and the Saints will have the possession as they lead it by a score of 10-3. Desert Vista led by Jack Aarons. He had 2 goals in that first. Rose had a goal and an assist to account for the scoring for the Desert Vista Thunder. Jake Smith with 2 goals, Traxler with 2, and as we mentioned, Story with 5, and then the single goal by Bergamo that came early in the game, and that was on an assist from Story. So Story has 7 points. The shot taken, and that one a nice save. Creech again, back to back. I'll tell you, you can't ask for any more than that. And really, to be quite honest with you, Dane Ide should have been called for a penalty there. I mean, he absolutely leveled Max Bergamo. And now the takeaway, and that's Blake Story. Story's going to try to clear it. And he will stay behind the mid-stripe. Nope, he will take it himself. As Notre Dame tries to get it in the box, there is a flag down on the play, as you can see. Looked like he threw it right at our camera. And now Traxler going to work. He's got a couple of goals in that first quarter. A 10-point first quarter for Notre Dame, and they're up by 7 in this state semifinal game. The winner of this game will take on the winner between Boulder Creek and South Point, who play tomorrow night. And that looked like a high hit, and now it's getting a little dicey out there. And who's got the ball? It's Traxler, and now they're stopping. Why are they blowing the whistle during the shot? Now, I don't understand that at all. Apparently the ball did hit the ground. We're going to get a cross-check. So a cross-check, 1 minute, and it's going to go against Desert Vista. So that puts Notre Dame in a man-up situation here. Now the officials are going to talk it over again. It's a double man-up, excuse me. So Dane eyed. So apparently they did throw a second flag. I did not see that on Dane eyed. And right now Notre Dame is a double man up, 6-on-4. Nice job breaking that one up was Taylor Witt. 10-3 Notre Dame. Story was 6 points in that first quarter. Gives it up to Jake Smith. He was shooting from downtown, backed up by Bergamo. Bergamo on the restart. This is Quinn Stanton. Second quarter action. Well, if Notre Dame holds on, they will take on Sal Point or Boulder Creek, who play tomorrow night in the Old Pueblo at 6 o'clock. And our game today brought to you by Ottawa University, Arizona. The Spirit, the Ottawa Spirit. They got a state-of-the-art facility, a state-of-the-art field, which looks a little bit like this one. Traxler turned away by Creech. Another outstanding save. I know that Desert Vista has given up 10 points in this game, but you got to give some credit. Christian Creech has hung in there, and he's made yet another save. He has been impressive here in the second quarter. But Notre Dame leads it by a score of 10-3. We're in a double man up, and the shot is no good. Well, the penalty will expire here shortly. A couple of more seconds left on this one. And here's Notre Dame, the #1 offense, pretty much tied with Sal Point. They're pretty much neck and neck in terms of total points scored. It's just the differential much better on the Notre Dame side. And yet here they are, 2 men up, and they can't score. They put 10 points. They're tired. I'm kidding. But they're tired after putting up 10 in the first. Story had 5, including an assist. And now Bergamo starting to go to work. Knocked down on the pass. That's Jacob Mitchell. Desert Vista needing a ground ball. Couldn't get it. Picked up there by Chandler Coper, the junior. He'll be one of their top scorers next year. They're going to be losing some very talented offensive players. And Coper right on cue makes it 11-3 Notre Dame as he goes right out in front with the left hand and scores at the 7:33 mark. So we had all those fireworks going on in the first, and it takes Notre Dame 4.5 minutes to score. Both teams are even. And we're going to get a stop in play. The ground ball belonged to Schertz. Give it back to Desert Vista. You're watching APNvideo.com. Jeff Lowry here from Bemis Field. As the Notre Dame Saints trying to improve on a 12-1 record, taking on the 10-3 Desert Vista. If you're wondering seeding, Desert Vista came in the #3 seed and Notre Dame the #2 seed. They lost to Sal Point a couple of weeks ago, which broke a 24-game win streak, but they have won 27 of their last 25. Second quarter action, Notre Dame up by 8. Desert Vista needs to string a few goals here. Led by 27, Desert Vista and Trevor Phillips. And he is the ball carrier, and he gets molested in the high crease. And that is going to be a turnover here for Desert Vista, as the clear belongs to Alex Clausen. Alex going to try to clear it. He does. Send it up to Zach Siegel. who is a defenseman, one of the poles for Doug Lipka, and he has 8 points on the season. Actually, he has 11 points. He has scored 8 times. So we got a timeout. This timeout brought to you by Ottawa University, Arizona Lacrosse. Jeff Lowry back here at Bemis Field. Second quarter action. J.J. Rose will restart it. Check that, 26. That's Connor Farrell. And now Mitchell for Desert Vista. And he promptly throws it away. Well, Geeson didn't have much of a chance on that one. So here is Rosen on the restart. Senior midfielder for the Notre Dame Saints, who lead it by a score of 11-3. You're watching the Arizona Lacrosse League Division I state semifinal. And I believe they're going to be called, Notre Dame that is, for offsides. Second quarter action. Notre Dame got out to a 3-0 start. Desert Vista, after the injury to Culp, got fired up, came out, scored 2 straight, and it has pretty much been all Notre Dame since. They are on an 8-1 run. They have scored 8 of the last 9 goals in this game. And here is an unforced, well, possible turnover. Loose ball, who wants the nugget, and it's Donahue on the far side as he battles, trying to get that long pole and rake up that ball, but couldn't do it. Good hustle on the far side by Ben Brandenberger. Good to see him back in after he was out for a few weeks with an injury. Good check there by Jake Smith. You're going to get some physicality when you're dealing with Jake Smith. And there's Ryan Poteet. Good check that time, trying to force a turnover, and then he gets leveled by Jack Aarons. And then he comes in, and the bodies are hitting the floor. There's the flag, and Poteet is going to be called for an unnecessary roughness, most likely here. He came flying in there and drilled Chris Votto. Officials want to make sure they get the right call, but I think they're going to get the salute sign here. Yep. Oh, that's a 2-minute non-releasable on Ryan Poteet, who is truly one of the premier defensive players in the state of Arizona. Long stick midfielder. So this is going to be a man-up situation for DV. And if there's any chance of this team getting back into this ball game, they're going to need to take advantage of this man-up situation. 2 minutes non-releasable. So they're going to settle in. J.J. Rose, 60 points this year, top 5 scorer again in the league. Shot taken, that one's high. Jaden with the shot. Jaden Dinublio. I think I pronounced it correctly this time, I hope. Callahan, crisscross passing, broken up, ground ball, McKeon. Notre Dame with a chance to eat up some of that penalty. We're coming up on 1:05 left to go. Stepping out of bounds was the Saints, and Desert Vista has it. Quickly get it into the offensive half. Led by Josh Atkins, 5. They'll work it around the goal line extended. Back out on the wing. That's Aarons, who put 2 in the back of the cage in a man-up situation in the first. His team trails 11-3 here on our semifinal coverage on APM Video Sports. Arizona High School Lacrosse. J.J. Rose. And they're going to say, well, I thought maybe J.J. was the one that pushed. So Desert Vista will have, yes, and that was the right call. So Notre Dame has it. And now Josh Calvin, who has really had, I think, an outstanding season for Coach Lipka and Coach Siegel over here, in goal for the Saints. Crowd wanting an offsides call. They're not going to, I don't think they're going to get it, as Bergamo is going to be marked up there by Story.
No, they only got 3 up there.
Spencer Story, an outstanding player, long stick midfielder. Face off, get off sometimes. His dad so graciously films the Desert Vista games. Loose ball, Traxler couldn't get it, stop in play, and we're going to get a hold. Give it back to Notre Dame. It is 11-3 in favor of the Notre Dame Saints in pursuit of their second consecutive state championship. Only 3 teams in league history have won back-to-back titles. That would be the Chaparral Firebirds. As the pass out front, loose. Rosen can't get the ground ball. Notre Dame will have it with Coper. There's got to be a push in there somewhere and a procedure. Procedure against Desert Vista, giving it back to Notre Dame. Chaparral, Brophy, who did it twice. And this Desert Vista Thunder, 2014-2015. Off the pipe, Bergamo, left-handed shot. Fine ground ball by one of the top defenders in the state, and Bryce Thumler. Good clear by Desert Vista, down by 8, second quarter action. They were unable to take advantage of a man-up situation, Desert Vista that is, in a 2-minute non-releasable. And now they come back down into the offensive half, and J.J. Rose.
Come on, make it count, Blue.
Well, Desert Vista, no urgency here to score. J.J. trying to create, pulls the trigger with Jake Smith flanking him on defense, and he came up empty-handed. As we are coming up to the end of the first half, and it has been all Notre Dame. They lead at 11-3. The score was 10-3. We've had 1 goal in this second quarter. And we haven't seen a whole lot of shots by either team. Notre Dame the only team to score in this quarter. That was a good dodge, but the shot was off target. Farrell tried to go over the top, but came up empty-handed, and now we're down to 45.4 seconds left to go here in regulation, first half action. Here's the dodge, and the bullet. It's good. Jaden comes up with a goal. So Danublio makes it 11-4. That's with 33 seconds left to play here in the quarter. So Danublio with his first goal of the contest. Aarons has 2 for Desert Vista. Rose has 2 points, a goal and an assist. And with 25.8 timeout on the field. You're watching the Division I state semifinals. Desert Vista. High shot. That one goes out of play with 18.9. Brought to you by Arizona Box Lacrosse. Bill Casey's program during the summer. And we invite you to visit ArizonaBoxLA.com, AZBOXLA.com. Another penalty on Ryan Poteet. 5 minutes of penalty time, and you're ejected from the game, but it is not a suspension. It would not be like being ejected as Calvin comes up with a save on that left-handed shot for like an unsportsmanlike conduct. Couple of seconds left to go. J.J. Rose being challenged by Zach Siegel, and they're just going to hold on to the ball. So they will start the second half with the possession. But Desert Vista trails Notre Dame 11-4. We'll be back with the second half on APN in just a moment. Calling all teams and players, get into the box. Arizona Box Lacrosse presents the Best in Box Invitational starting in June. League practices will be held to prepare for a 6-week game series sponsored by String King. Get into the box. Register today at azboxla.com. special thanks to Ottawa University, Arizona lacrosse team. And check out their new lacrosse team at ottawa.edu. They're looking for players and maybe competing in the MCLA Division II next school season. Here it is 11-4, Desert Vista in possession with about 20 seconds left to go in the penalty. As Desert Vista in the dark uniforms, the gold trim, trailing the defending state champions, Division I, the Notre Dame Saints, 11-4. The winner of this game is Calvin corrals that one. High shot. Probably won't be considered a save for Calvin. But the winner of this game, and it looks like it's going to be Notre Dame, going to the state finals for the second consecutive year. Story, oh, he had Bergamo at the doorstep. On the restart, here's Desert Vista, will clear it. Notre Dame scored the game's first 3 goals, took a 3-0 lead. Then Aarons, number 3 at the bottom of your screen, scored back-to-back goals to cut it to a 1-point deficit. At that point, it was a 7-0 run, or excuse me, they went on an 8-1 run, Notre Dame, an 8-1 run. They led by as many as 8 in this game at 11-3. A late goal by Desert Vista, and Desert Vista's going to score here. Boy, I'll tell you, Trevor Phillips had to really work for that one. It was pretty good defense. And that's 2 in a row for DV, and now it's 11-5. So that comes in the first minute of the third quarter. So it's 11-5. They have scored 2 straight, Desert Vista. And the face-off belongs to Notre Dame. They have a 10-6 advantage unofficially. And what an outstanding job by A.J. Schertz. He's one of my favorite players. I got to say it. I mean, the kid never played the game. And I mean, he's been a ground ball machine for this Notre Dame Saints team, and he plays with a lot of heart. He is one of the best I've seen this year at clearing the ball, and he is a guy that he looks like he's been playing for years. And talking to Doug Lipka, he said it was like catching lightning in a bottle. Here is Bergamo going downstairs, and the ball deflected out front. So Notre Dame will have the possession here as Story brings it up along the far wing. Heading down to the low side. He'll work it out of X. Let's see where the dodge comes. Story, hands clear, gets the rebound, flips it out. Who wants it? And Bergamo, well, we got an injury here. And this is going to be Christian Creech. He got shaken up pretty badly on that last play, and he may have to come out of this ball game. Christian Creech. I know that Notre Dame has scored a boatload of goals here tonight. Now we got a new goalie in here. Wouldn't you know it? Number 7 isn't on our list. And that's not Kaylor Moore. We'll see how long he stays in, and how about this? The young man makes, on the first shot, a save. 11-5 Notre Dame. We're in the third quarter. And now James Traxler. He is the point guard for this offense, for a lack of a better term. Story is their top scorer. He has 5 goals, all in the first quarter. He has 1 assist, number 3 for Notre Dame. Jake Smith, not afraid to pull the trigger from anywhere. Lake Story, what a great season. And if he was playing on most teams, he would have probably had a lot more than 54 points. I mean, you got to spread the wealth here. You got so much talent. And Traxler changing the eye level of the young goalie, and he rips one through. And Trax has a hat trick here as he scores with 8:19 to go here in the third. 12-5 Notre Dame. Third quarter action. Siegel gobbles up that ground ball. And another face-off win for the Saints. (11-6) is what we have for face-off wins, which I always think is an understated part of the game of lacrosse. Now, Notre Dame doesn't have to come out here usually and win in face-off X, though I will say this. I thought a big reason why they lost that game to South Point was Max Mankin. As Max Bergamo gives the story, and he's got 6 goals here tonight, and it's 13-5. Notre Dame Saints. Max with an assist. He's got 2 points. That comes with 7:20 left to play here in the third. 13-5 Notre Dame. They've scored 2 straight. And Story is the story again with 6 goals. 14 in the 2 games that he has played against Desert Vista this year. Pretty unbelievable. There's a nice job by Jake Rodriguez winning the faceoff. Third quarter action. Our game brought to you by the new lacrosse team at Ottawa University, Arizona, the Spirit, and they're looking for players. Go to ottawa.edu and find out more about their lacrosse scholarship. And scoring is Nick Callahan, whose older brother played here. He was an outstanding player on some of those great championship teams, and it's 13-6. With 6:48 left to go, Callahan unassisted on the play, and his older brother also plays for the University of Arizona and Coach Matt Blamey. And a face-off win. That's 2 in a row for Desert Vista. Still hanging in there at 13-6. Third quarter action. We approach the 6:30 mark. Right down the alley, or right down the middle, and the shot by the Goose. Turned away by Josh Calvin. Outstanding save that time by the junior. He is a very confident young man, and I'll tell you, he had some big shoes to fill. And Marcus Coleman sees, who was one of the top, I think, 2 goalies in the state last year. Nice takeaway by DV. Here's Ahrens out front. And Callahan has found the promised land for Desert Vista, and it's 13-7. Callahan's second goal of the contest. That'll be an assist for Ahrens. Ahrens with his 3rd point of the contest. Face-off win, and it is DV. Here's the Goose going to work. Work it over to Jaden. 13-7. A game that we've seen some rough hits, a little dicey. And a game right now which for the most part has really settled down, and fortunately we didn't see any altercations here as Goose got kind of tied up there with AJ's shirts. And it's been a pretty clean game. I know that hit on Culp, a lot of the fans up here were very unhappy about it, but since then it's been relatively incident-free as JJ backs in, looking for an outlet, gets hit in the face, no call, takes a shot, it's high. And I don't blame JJ a little bit there. He's barking at the official. He clearly got hit in the face mask. But Desert Vista is going to get to restart it here. Here's Jack going to work, and did that one slip through? It did. He's got the hat trick, and it's 13-8. I'll tell you, Desert Vista is like a different team here in this third quarter. 4:51 left to play, and Desert Vista, after giving up 2 unanswered goals here in the third, has scored 3 straight. And a big reason, 2 face-off wins. Let's see if they can get this one. Thumler And he had it, and then Ryan Poteet, who does that as well as anybody in the state of Arizona. That little trail check, and now Bergamo has it, racing towards the crease. He'll pass it off, and the feed goes to Coper. Well, they score with lightning-like swiftness with 4:30 left to go here in the third quarter. Coper from Max Bergamo. And Notre Dame breaks Desert Vista's 3-0 run. Boy, I'll tell you, the action in this game unparalleled to what we have had here on our games of the week. I'm telling you, this game here has had it all. Shirts, another face-off win. And now Story, who has 7 points in the game on the strength of 6 goals. And I think it bears mention, I know Dan Lannon doesn't want me to mention it again, but Blake Story this year in the not even 7 quarters of play against Desert Vista, he has scored 14 goals. He's going to be turned away, and it's good to see their starting goalie, Kristen Creech, back in there for Desert Vista. Story, nice ground ball. A back pass, and now Quinn Stanton trying to get on the board, trying to bounce that one in. Fine save there. That may be one of the toughest to stop. Probably a top shelf, but that bounce shot is also one of the most difficult for a goalie. It was a good idea by Quinn Stanton, who is scoreless here tonight. Traxler going to work. Third quarter action. It is Notre Dame 14, Desert Vista, who is on defense in the dark uniforms 8. Our game is brought to you by Ottawa.edu, and check out their all-new lacrosse team, Ottawa University, Arizona, the Spirit, playing in Surprise, 4-year school, and the scholarship. Another great save. Ground ball, we got a flag on the play, and Story and Connor Farrell mixing it up, and it looks like, well, Blake doesn't need to do that. Come on. We're going to get a slash 1 minute against Blake Story here, so a man-up situation. Third situation where DV has been in the man-up. Got a stop and play here by the officials. Not really sure what's going on, but the restart belongs to Nick Callahan. So a man-up offense for Desert Vista. In a 14-8 game, and this is a very important part of the game. There's still a lot of time left. Got the entire fourth quarter. J.J. Rose, who has been kind of quiet, hasn't taken a lot of shots. Aarons, the leading scorer for DV, missed it, and that's another save for Josh Calvin. And there is Shirts on the ground ball and the clear. He'll race it into the box. There defensively is Taylor Witt. Now Traxler out of X. Eyes over the crease area. Still a man-up situation here for the Desert Vista Thunder. Traxler will start. He will give it up. A couple of fakes. And the mauling of number 6, Brendan Galvin, the junior attackman. No call on the play, and that's going to turn it back over to DV. And they're going to throw it away. Or will it stay in play? Taylor Witt, he's trying, he's battling. Gets it into the Notre Dame half. And a much-needed ground ball. Now you're going to get it over and back here. And that is going to be, I would assume, the call. Nope, Desert Vista got the timeout in first. So there's Dan Lannon. After the timeout, the restart belongs to Desert Vista. If they're going to get back into this ball game, now is the time. Third quarter action, Notre Dame up by a score of 14-8. You're watching APMvideo.com. in the Arizona Lacrosse League. Nick Callahan. Arentz with 3 goals, 1 assist here tonight. Moves left, moves right, goes back left. Calvin, I don't think Calvin got a face on that one. It was wide left of the goal, backed up nicely by Desert Vista here in the late stages of quarter number 3. DV with the ball, they trail by 6. State semifinals, Arentz took his eye off the ball, picked up on an outstanding GB by Siegel. Here he goes, he's got 11 points on the season, 3 assists. A Chris tic-tac-toe cross, and the pass, and Bergamo, and he takes a late shot, and that's uncalled for. Dane Ide. Well, no favoritism here. You know, I called out Blake's story a little bit for what he did a moment ago, and Dane Ide really should not have done that. That's totally out of frustration, which I understand. I know you're down 15-8, but you got to keep this civil. And so no face-off, and now Story, who has 6 goals here tonight. And I believe Dane started the season at the JV level, and it is getting a little dicey. Spencer Story, Blake Story, exchanging some pleasantries. And we're going to get a foul here on Notre Dame. It's going to be a 2-minute non-releasable, and I think it's on Blake Story. And Coach Lipka can't believe the call. So we go to the 4th. It's Saints 15, the Thunder 8. This is the semifinals, D1 on ESPN Sports. Jeff Lowry back here from Bemis Field on the campus of Notre Dame Prep High School, brought to you by Ottawa University's new lacrosse team, Ottawa University, Arizona. Go to ottawa.edu for more. 15-8 is the score as the Notre Dame Saints pretty much dominated this game. It was 3-2 all the way back in the first. Right now, Desert Vista is a man up again. 2-minute non-releasable, the second non-releasable penalty in this game. But the way this game started, you got to tip your cap really to both coaches here, Doug Lipka and Dan Lannon and their respective staff. This thing did not get out of hand early on. Now, there has been a couple of hard hits, a couple of unnecessary things that have went on out here, but it could have been a lot worse. And you got to give some credit to this coaching staff for kind of keeping the tempers down a little bit. So Jake Smith against Goose. And Jake Smith will bounce back out towards the midfield stripe and restart the offense. And right now, you're wondering why he's not dodging, why he's not passing it up. Well, Jake Smith knows that they're in a 2-minute non-releasable. And we're going to get an illegal screen here. And that's going to turn the ball over to Desert Vista, who trails it 15-8 here. Start of the 4th quarter. Intercepted, the ground ball by Poteet. Quickly get it into the offensive box. Get it in the attack zone. Loose ball. Who's got it? And it is Notre Dame. James Traxler with an outstanding ground ball. Blake Story has been the difference here tonight, but he is in the box. His punishment is a 2-minute non-releasable, but he has 7 points, 6 goals. Notre Dame led, they put up 10 points in the first quarter. Led 10-3 after 1. They're still trying to kill this penalty. Both teams scored only 1 goal in the second quarter. We had an 11-3, an 11-4 score at the half with Notre Dame on top. And then Desert Vista outscored Notre Dame 4-3. In that third quarter. It's 15-8.
Even.
And we're finally even as Blake Story. I wonder how much Blake Story's going to play in this fourth quarter. Big lead. Of course, you can't assume anything here if you're Doug Lipka. I mean, this game is not in the deep freeze yet. But it's Notre Dame leading it here, leading it by a sizable margin. Stay with us. At the conclusion of this game, we'll have post-game interviews. Shaking and baking, and Desert Vista, that's a grandma goal. That's outside the box. Or outside the net. They call it a grandma goal because when grandma sees that, she thinks that her grandson just scored, and he didn't. It was outside the goal. And it is deceiving if you're up here in the stands. Or even watching it on television. Bergamo, ball carrier right now. He's had a big game, not statistically speaking, but he's had a big game in terms of he's been very active. He's had a lot of touches. He's put 3 points up there on the board. Of course, these teams are coming off quarterfinal victories. Notre Dame defeated Chaparral. They played them twice. They ended the regular season beating them 13-0, and then this first round playoff game 14-7. While Desert Vista took care of Brophy 12-9. In that game, Aarons had 4 points, 2 goals, 2 assists. Bolton 2 goals, and Sir Mr. Goose, he had 2 goals, 2 assists, and 4 points. And a pretty good game against the Broncos. One of the rare times that a Brophy team has not made the finals over the last decade or so. Chaparral leads all Arizona high school teams in state championships with 7, Brophy 5, Desert Vista 3. And Notre Dame is trying to get on that list of multi-state championship winners in Arizona. I mean, this league was dominated by Chaparral in the early days. They were dominated up until this year, the last 10 or so years by Brophy. Dan Lannon and his team, who I still say had the best team, 2 best teams maybe in league history in 14 and 15. They won back-to-back, undefeated in the state in 2014 and 2015. And now you got Notre Dame quite possibly 1 game now away from repeating. They would be the 4th team in state history to repeat as state champions. They had a little hiccup against South Point. They will play the winner of the South Point-Boulder Creek game, which will be played down in Tucson tomorrow night at 6 p.m. And we should have all the play-by-play action of that one on here. That's a crease violation on Quinn Stanton. Turn that ball back over to Desert Vista. Stay with us at the conclusion of this game. We'll have post-game interviews with the winning side.
Seriously, guys, come on.
Ground ball, who wants it? That's a hot potato. And the ground ball, let's see, Notre Dame apparently wants it. Daniel Doherty really battling to get that ball, and a timeout on the field to save possession. You're watching the 2018 Arizona Lacrosse League Division I state semifinals. The other one, South Point and Boulder Creek. South Point winning their semifinal game 21-9 over Pinnacle. And Boulder Creek up 10 on Glendale on Wednesday night, a team that they lost to earlier in the season. And the interesting thing is Boulder Creek and South Point, since looks like Notre Dame's trying to kill some clock here. Jake Smith, the ball carrier, the defensive assignment for Josh Atkins. Boulder Creek lost to South Point by just 1 point, but it was the first game of the year. And you can't take Nick Hillier's team for granted. And South Point can't afford to take that team for granted because they've got some of the best players in the state. And I've said this time and time again over the last couple of weeks. Boulder Creek is a team you cannot fall asleep on. You better play a very good game to beat them, or they will beat you. They have won 7 in a row. And granted, I know some of those games were against some teams that have either won no games or one game. As the shot taken by Jake Smith, he goes upper shelf, and he's done it again. He's got the hat trick, and it's 16-8 with 5:03 left to go here in regulation. Jake Smith, a tremendous athlete, probably the best athlete out there, at least on the Notre Dame side. Thumler, excellent ground ball, and a face-off win for Desert Vista. Now Goose. I like this young man's game. Give it to Callahan. Tried to bounce feed that one in there. That's a save for Josh Calvin. Ground ball. And Donahue will clear it for Notre Dame. They are up 16-8. We're in the fourth quarter. Unfortunately, Kyle threw that one away, and it went right to the goalie of the Desert Vista Thunder. Now Story on the clear. Over to Jack Aarons, who is the leading scorer. He, too, had an older brother that played for the Desert Vista Thunder.
Four minutes.
So we're down inside the 4-minute mark here, quarter number 4. Our game brought to you by azboxla.com. Go to www.azboxla.com. Good way to work on your quickness, playing box lacrosse, your quickness, work on the skills. Bill Casey, Mr. Westside Lacrosse, one of the true good guys in this league, and I've known Bill for many, many years. And we're happy to help them out and promote that box lacrosse that he is so well known for during the summers out here. So Notre Dame leads it by a score of 16-8, and they're just playing a little keep away right now. They're going to advance to the 2018 state semifinals, and they'll be taking on either Boulder Creek or South Point. And you're watching APM Video Sports. Quinn Stanton, well, one more high school game for this senior, and it has been truly a pleasure watching this young man play over the last couple of seasons. He was here when this team was struggling in Division I, when they were 4-8 a couple of years ago. He was a big reason why this team won the state championship last year. One of the true classy young men in this league. And of course, James Traxler, the great facilitator, as I call him, the point guard of this offense, 22 for Notre Dame. This is the last game for players like J.J. Rose, who has just been an absolute pleasure to watch over the years, number 25 for Desert Vista. There is a flag down on the play. Crowd reacting. Ball carrier is Daniel Doherty. Eyed on the defense, number 94. There is a flag down, so once the ball hits the ground or someone makes a shot here, we will find out what happened. I didn't see it. And it's been a lot of fun, you know, following this Desert Vista team down through the years. And like I said, Dan had some really great teams in 14 and 15. They went to the championship 4 years in a row. And just seeing, you know, not generations of players, but, you know, there's the ball down, and this is going to be a slash. Let's see who this is on. Just out of curiosity, it's Dane Ide. So a man-up situation here, but the game well in hand, 16-8. But you know, you You talk about errants, you know, the two brothers that played for this program, the Callahans, Votto. Now, Chris Votto's older brother, one of the great scorers in league history, part of those great Desert Vista teams. Assuming that Notre Dame holds on and wins this game, it would be 4 in a row over Desert Vista. The last time they lost to them was on this field. It was the last game of the year in 2016, and Desert Vista won that one 20-4. But Notre Dame has turned the program around, and they have dominated the Arizona Lacrosse League over the last 2 seasons. And they are just moments away from advancing to the state finals in Division I. 11.6 seconds left to go. And a timeout here taken by Notre Dame. And the celebration will be starting momentarily. Inside of 10 seconds left to go. Hagar. He's the ball carrier as he tries to run out the clock. And the Notre Dame Saints have defeated the Desert Vista Thunder. And they do it by a final score of 16-8 to advance to the Division I state championship here in Arizona High School. And when we come back, we'll talk to some of the Saints. On Arizona's leader in sports video coverage, this is APN Sports. Congratulations to the Saints. They're victorious. All right, for the second consecutive year, the Saints are heading to the state championship. Let's get your names first off.
I'm Chandler Coper. I'm AJ Shirts. I'm the goalie, Josh Calvin.
Brian Poteet.
All right, let's start here. Coper, a great game for you guys. 10 points in that first quarter. I mean, you were making a statement right off the bat with these guys.
Yeah, definitely. I think if we didn't have a little delay there, we would have just kept pounding them. But, you know, we came back and started doing it again, so it ended up well for us going to state.
Do you like playing this physical game? I mean, I know you're kind of a physical player.
Yeah, I love it. This is my first year out, and it's awesome. I love being physical. I love riding with my boys. I couldn't have asked for a better team to go to state with. Let's get this money.
And AJ, you really had never played the game or even picked up a stick until what, 6 weeks before the season?
Correct. Yeah. Right at the beginning of the tryouts, you know, I had a few guys on the team. Quinn Stanton helped me out, you know, get my stick dialed in. And now I'm here. So I'm glad to be on this team.
Well, it's been a pleasure. I mean, I think you picked this game up so quickly, and you've been a big part of the team this year, as well as the goalie,
Joshy.
Great night here tonight. They were pretty fired up. They got down early, but then they kind of turned things around. But yeah, just tell us about this team this year.
You know, this is a special team. You know, this is a very special one. And you know, tonight they put a few up on us. I had no doubt in my mind that we were going to win this game from the beginning. I knew it. They could put up goals on us, doesn't matter. You know, I'm not going to let my team lose. That's all.
And Ryan, I think you're one of the best defensive players in the state. No question about it. A game like this, when it's real physical, does this kind of play into your game?
Yeah, it does, especially with all the refs and everything. A little soft lately, but we play through it. We're super happy to have a great season. Happy to see South Point again, and can't wait to be back.
Okay, 16-8, the final score here. The Saints are back in the championship game, looking to repeat, and we wish you guys the best of luck next week.
Dance with my dogs in the nighttime, baby. Hell yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.